When the sun rises in the morning, there's no UV light as soon as it comes up. So that means it has three different colors in it. It has blue, red, and green. Here's the interesting thing about sunlight. The amount of blue is always balanced by the exact same amount of red. Okay, what does blue light fundamentally do when the sun rises and it goes in your retina? It stimulates you and increases something called reactive oxygen species. That's something that your mitochondria makes in your RPE to get this process going. Now, it creates inflammation. That inflammation changes water flows in your eye and in your brain through a gate called the aquaporin 4 gate. Water flows and it stretches between neurons and glial cells. That's actually what wakes you up in the morning, okay? Now, the blue light activation also turns your pituitary gland on in the morning so that you begin to release the anterior pituitary hormones. And that's what sets the circadian pacemaker, okay? The key thing is blue light unopposed, meaning no red, has no balance. So I want you to think about the Roman god Janus. It's got a good face and a bad face. Light has the perfect balance of good and bad. Around 8:30, 9 o'clock, UV light comes up. How does UV light work? UV light can't get through the atmosphere because of the angle of inclination. It has to have a certain angle in the atmosphere so that ozone doesn't knock it out. You know what UV light does on the surface? It inactivates the hormones that come to the surface. Because what does sunlight, full spectrum sunlight, do? It releases another free radical in your skin called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a vasodilator, and it brings blood vessels to the surface. Guess where hormones from the pituitary are bound to? They're bound to red blood cells, okay? What's on red blood cells? Something called DHA. DHA is known in your world as fish oil, but it's got to be in the cell membrane. Why is fish oil important? It's got a ton of electrons in it. How does light interact? By photoelectric effect. Photons hit electrons. That's the key. The UV light turns off the amount of anterior pituitary hormones at the precise time. So if you go and look at a Google map of the circadian biology of hormone release, you'll notice that testosterone peaks at 10 o'clock and then goes away. You know what you won't hear from anybody? They don't know why. And I'm telling you the reason why. It's because at 10 o'clock, almost everywhere from 0 degrees latitude all the way up to 59 degrees, UV light is present. And UVA light, you don't need UVB, which makes D, vitamin D. UVA light is capable of doing this. Here's the key. Sunlight specifically has to be UV, is the key to getting that nitric oxide up to the surface. That's why you think of sunburns when you get pink. That's not true. It's not true at all. The pink is bringing the blood vessels to the surface. Why do you get pink? Because your skin is translucent to light, but what you need to know is in a red blood cell, inside, the two most common proteins are hemoglobin, which I think everybody knows about. It has 4 main spikes, 1 in the UV range and 3 in the red. Then there's another one called porphyrins, and porphyrins absorb all parts of the UV spectrum. So guess what? Porphyrins are what allows UV light to be assimilated. Negative.